Come on in the room.
Hey, y'all.
Come on in the room, everybody.
Hello.
You gotta scoot in so they can see you over here.
Girl, you know Instagram gives you 2 inches of space, and that's it. And so if you anything bigger than 2 inches, that's just gonna be it.
That's all right. That's all right, girl. We're gonna squeeze on in and we're gonna figure it out, girl. That's what we're gonna do. Listen, for those of you guys who have never been with us before, you have no idea who we are or where you find yourself. I am Candy Sincerity Johnson.
And I'm Sean Johnson.
And together we do a whole lot of things. We do a lot of things. But girl, these internet streets lately have been buzzing, girl. They have been buzzing. Everybody is talking about Sean and I, our breakup and so forth. And so, girl, we're just continuing the conversation.
Girl, we broke up. Y'all broken up about it. Everybody broke up and broke up.
Girl, the one lady said, look, the one lady said, Sean, I'm praying for you. Girl, I got the comments. I said, well, what? Just Sean?
Right. Like, Candy don't get prayers? Like, I don't understand.
You know,
like, we both going through this together. Like, I don't understand.
I said, just Sean. But nonetheless, did I get my name?
You did.
Okay. So you guys know who we are. You know who you are, and you know where you found yourself. So we are here for a mighty good time.
Yes.
We are going to read. Well, Sean does better at reading out loud than I do, girl. I was the kid in the class where you was like, girl, why did the teacher wait till 2:59 and the bell ring at 3 to call on Candace, girl? to read out loud, girl. So Sean reads out loud a little bit better than I do, okay? And so we're going to give commentary. We're going to have a good conversation as it relates to a little excerpt from the book.
Just a little something.
Moments of Resurrection.
Just a little sample, if you will.
A little sample. So if you guys are ready, can I bring this one down a little bit? If you guys are ready, let us know in the comments that you're ready. Who's in the building? I want to see who's in the building.
So, hey, Miss Rochella. Hey, Miss Marion. Hey, Kenya. Hey, Toria. Hi, Alicia. Miss Quay. Coley B. Kathy. Joy. Miss Onika. Laura. Diona. The best friends are here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pin this at the bottom because some people are going to be asking, but you can carry on. Pam said, I'm here. Hey, Pam.
I know that's right. Hey, Alicia, Quay. I see all of the best friends. I see our good Judys over here, our good Judys and good Jonathans over here on Instagram. Hey, Miss Cheryl, Sandra, I see you two peas in love. I like that. Yes. Is it Siobhan? I see you guys over here on Instagram. Our Instagram family is showing love too. I know oftentimes they be feeling abandoned, girl.
Yeah, so
they be feeling abandoned.
So IG best friends, if you didn't catch the announcement yesterday on the Book of Faces, Candy and I are no longer together. We announced our breakup. So that's what it was. And tonight we're reading an excerpt or a couple of excerpts from the book that we co-authored together, Moments of Resurrection. So if you're interested in pre-ordering it, I'm doing it over here on Facebook, but I'll try to see if I can do it over there for Instagram. But basically all you have to do is just inbox your name, your email address, and what option number you want, and then we'll send you an invoice for it. So IG, I'll repeat that. If you have questions or somebody asks how to pre-order, I'll let you guys know.
That's right. So we're super excited about our time with you guys. Let me read some comments because Sean is over here feverishly typing. Miss Sherry said, hey, ladies, finally caught you live. We're glad to see you live. Hey, Jennifer. Coley said, Sean, question for you. I started my inbox to you for my book purchase, but I just wanted to be fully clear. I only need the new book. I already have the first one, but I want both hard copies and virtual... oh God, it's running away from me. I want both hard copy and virtual copy of the new one along with the Zoom link. So how much?
So that is, I just actually posted it, Coley. So that would be if you just want the new book and access to the virtual event by Zoom, that's option number 3. And so that's $60 plus $10 for your shipping. I don't think we mentioned that yesterday, but most of you guys understood that, we have to ship the book to you. So option number 3, Coley, is what you're looking for, but I just pinned it below. So that way, you know. So option 1 is if you just want the new book. Option 2 is if you want the first book, Moments of Redemption, and the new book, Moments of Resurrection. Option 3 is if you want just the new book and access to the virtual event. And then option 4 is if you want both books and access to the virtual event. That's option 4.
Miss Deborah Cunningham says she didn't get her invoice, so I'll just put a note here Miss Deborah, we'll follow up with you as soon as the video is over.
Yes.
So we will follow up with you, best friend, as soon as the video is over. So, girl.
Yes.
I'm interested. I asked Sean. Now, Sean is very good at picking out good sound bites.
Ooh.
So, Sean, typically when I do content or I go live or something on my page, typically Sean will pick out an excerpt. And that's the excerpt that you guys see as a reel or something like that. So Sean has the gift of being able to grab the right piece. So I told Sean, I said, I trust you wholeheartedly as it relates to the book, picking out the right piece. And so we did not discuss out of all the chapters that we both wrote, which one she's going to pick out. So I have no idea what part of the book she's going to read.
And I won't tell you what part of the book I'm reading from. I'll just read it. So that way, once you get it, you'll be like, there it is. Or what have you. You may not even remember by the time you get the book and start reading. So
question, are you going to read one part or two?
I'm reading one part of the book, but it's two parts because it's your perspective and my perspective.
Ooh.
So what you guys will find is throughout this book, there are certain aspects where you guys ever see a movie where you're watching it and they show you the viewpoint of one character and then they re-show that same piece, but then they show it from the other perspective of a different character. That's kind of what happens at some points in the book. So in certain aspects, you get Candy's perspective in that exact moment. And then you get my perspective in that exact moment. So that's what I'm reading from tonight. You're getting both of our perspectives in the same moment of time.
Okay. So if we're gonna do it like that, just to make it fun.
Deborah said, "You're the most happy couple who's uncoupling."
Well, because we've been unraveling the string for about a year.
Yeah, we've been navigating this for about a year.
So, with that being said, I think it would be fun, and you can pick and choose whether you want to read mine first or yours first. It don't matter. Let's read and then let's dissect, okay?
Okay.
And then let's read and let's dissect. Can we do that? Y'all want to have fun and do it that way? Okay.
There's a question over in IG. Can you hit that little question mark? Because that means that somebody put a question in there.
Look at the little question box. How old are y'all? Somebody said, how old are y'all?
Oh, they want to know how old we is.
I don't know if you're supposed to ask a lady that, Jacob. But I'm 40.
And I'm 43.
Yeah. You want to know how much I weigh too? I can give you that too. I'm more than $2. I'll say that. I'm more. Let's say she's more than $2.
I'm also more than $2.
Yeah.
All right. So no, Kathy, this is not a skit. This is for real life. Like we've never done skits except when we did what was that? The prank calls.
Yeah, that wasn't even a skit.
That was years ago. There's no skits over here at all ever. Okay?
Let me tell y'all. Listen, and I'm not trying to shade anybody. I'm 40 darn years old. I have 2 children, and I have a whole lot of people who trust me and believe in me. I don't have time for skits. I don't have time to be playing on the internet with people's feelings. I don't have time to be doing stuff for clicks and views. When I say it, you can cash it. You see what I'm saying? If I say we falling apart, yes,
it's
like
what it is.
I don't, and I know people have created a culture where that is the norm, but that's never going to be the norm on this page. So no, but it's a good question because now it silences all the conversation of anybody who may have been thinking the same thing, right? So I appreciate the conversation. But
Deborah said, period.
I'm 40. I don't act in plays.
My patience for games is like that long. So yeah. All right. So are we ready to get into what we gonna read tonight? Is everybody ready? You ready for me to start?
Ooh, yes.
So I'm going to start.
Okay.
This is Candy's perspective. Okay. Ooh. So listen to Candy's perspective. If you guys have questions, we can deep dive after hers, and then you'll hear my perspective. Okay. All right. When you pray and ask God for clarity and answers, you must be prepared for whatever He reveals to you. Sometimes the revelations can be what you were hoping for, but sometimes they can completely rock your world and send you down a totally different path than you expected. During the consecration, I focused on praying and meditating more so I could hear more from God. I needed answers to be able to move forward with multiple areas of my life. What was my purpose and how was I supposed to be walking in my calling? What directions did I need to move in professionally so I could recover from the financial firestorm Sean had put us in? How was I supposed to move forward with Sean? I need clarity on a lot because right now I felt like I was in a bottle being spun around and I couldn't make heads or tails with much of anything. I felt like I was losing control of my life and it was scaring me. What I was not ready for was the answers that I began to get from God. I even got more than what I was asking for. I wasn't expecting him to put a mirror in my face and reveal to me that I had become a horrible version of myself. With the hurt, pain, disappointment, and betrayal I had experienced from Sean, those feelings had caused me to morph into a person I never thought I would be when it came to her. When Sean and I had started this journey some 17 years ago, I had put her on a pedestal. She was my everything. The love and care she showed me allowed me to fall madly in love with her. I wanted to give her the world and show her all the potential life had in it. I was willing to sacrifice anything and everything for her. Then, when we were blessed with Kincaid, I knew that my goals and dreams were going to be taken to an even higher level. Unfortunately, how we think our lives will go is not always the way it is meant to be. The biggest thing to realize is we don't have ultimate control, and the quicker we realize this, the better we can deal with the things that come our way. The love I felt for Sean began to shift, and the pedestal I once put her on had collapsed. After learning of her infidelity and lies, I chose to divorce her. I chose to try again with her after being separated for a while because I knew I was still in love with her, but it wasn't the same. The level of patience I once possessed had dwindled. My tolerance was not what it used to be. Intimately, I had a hard time reconnecting with her for a long time. During the 2 years we rekindled, Sean showed me that she still had issues with communication and lying. I tried to overlook and choose love, but I realized I hadn't healed from what she had done to me in the past, and the added issues only made it worse. I made the decision to end the relationship again. Going against everything I believed about not revisiting a failed relationship, I chose to try again with Sean after the twins came to us, wanting us to stay together when COVID struck. This was the third time down this road, and I think by this time, I was only a fraction of the partner I once was. I was trying to continue with Sean because despite it all, I still loved her. It was a bit of a roller coaster for 2 years. The highs were really high and made me feel like I was on cloud nine, but the lows were terrible. And August was the worst it could have ever been. Not only did it affect me, but now it was affecting Kincaid, even though they are not fully aware of everything that happened and what we are still struggling through now. I'm going to skip a little bit because I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to go over to here and then I'm going to read my perspective after we deep dive. Our once happy and harmonious relationship was now unhealthy and turning toxic for both of us. I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. Looking at this reflection of myself made me realize that something had to change. This was not the example I wanted to set for my kids, and I knew that both of us deserved better. What we once were to one another, we were no longer that. I decided to put a date on the calendar. I let Sean know the date was placed, but I never shared what the date was. The purpose of the date was if I didn't see what I needed to see from the relationship or from her, then I would know the final decision that needed to be made. The date was getting closer, and I don't think it was a coincidence that we went into the consecration as the date was approaching, and all of this was revealed to me.
Can I read some comments?
You sure can.
Miss Dot said over a year ago, Candy asked Sean if she would remarry her. And Sean said, at the time, you said no. Remember that conversation? We were sitting right here. She said, I realized then there was a problem. I realized then there was a problem. Yeah. And Deanna said, yeah, I was watching that live. It was very awkward. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people saying they need the book. They need the book. Best friends, let me tell y'all something. When you make a decision, and Sean and I experienced it the last time we separated. When you make a decision, oftentimes people always want to say, well, who decided to leave? This, that, and the third. We both at different points in time said it's not working, it's not going to work, or whatever the case may be. Right? But at the end of the day, she's right. I put a date on the calendar. I put a date on the calendar, right? And so even yesterday, I rewatched yesterday's video. There was people like, Sean, I'm praying for you. There was another lady that said, Candy seems so bossy. And I took it on the chin. I took it on the chin. Because, and thank you very, very much, best friend, for the stars.
Thank you for the stars, best friend.
Thank you for the stars. Hey, thank you for the stars. Thank you for the stars. Hey, thank you for the stars.
Thank you so much.
I took it on the chin because when I say I'm built for it tough, I'm built for it tough. When God shows you something or gives you the answers to the questions that you've been wondering, you don't need no other confirmation. You don't need no other confirmation. But yeah, I don't know. I will say this. I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to open the floor. Does anybody have any comments or any questions as it relates to what you just heard? Does anybody have any questions or feedback as it relates to what you just heard?
And then we'll move into my perspective in this moment in time.
Yeah.
And like I did with Candy's, there's certain parts that I'm not going to read because I don't want to, so I may jump over a little bit in mine too.
Yes.
But it'll make sense.
When I say I love y'all, girl, them numbers is climbing like Jacob's ladder, girl. Them numbers is climbing like Jacob's ladder.
Miss Deborah said that was deep.
Yes, it was. It was. Because even as we're teasing you guys with the excerpt from the book, you're getting how we felt. Girl, what you really want to know is what happened. That's inside the book.
Yeah.
You want to know, girl, what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
What happened?
Miss Nicole said, when I read that, Sean, I'm praying for you, I was like, well, now what about Candy and the kids? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a whole family involved in this, not just me. And to be honest, best friends, I don't know. I think, so I have what's called RBF.
What's that?
Resting face. And I think that some of you guys confuse that for sadness or anger or whatever. Like, I was fine yesterday. And this woman knows me better than anybody. Like, I was good. Trust me. If I was sad, if I was hurt, I'm very emotional. I'd have been crying. I'd have been snotting. Candy would have had to run and get me tissue. Like,
that's true.
It's not
as
bad.
I drink my orange juice.
Like, I literally was listening to what Candy had to say. And I think what it is because I've been learning how to actively listen. I'm working on it. I still got some work to do, but I think that's what it is. So when I'm quiet and I'm focusing in, like I'm just actively listening. So that's what it is.
Best friend on Instagram said, how much are the books?
So the new book, Moments of Resurrection, well, actually both of them I believe are $30. However, there's 4 different options. Option 1 is $30 plus the $10 shipping if you want just the new book. Option 2 is if you want both of the books. The first one, Moments of Redemption and Moments of Resurrection, and that's $40. So you're getting Moments of Redemption at a discount in that bundle. So it's $40 plus your $10 shipping. If you want option 3, we're going to be doing a virtual event for everybody who purchased the book so that you can get on Zoom with us, do like an author's deep dive, ask us more questions because after you read it, you may still have more questions, etc. Option 3 is the new book plus access to the virtual event, which is going to be August 20th. And then option 4 is if you want both books because you didn't read either, you want both books plus access to the virtual event. Okay. And that one is the third option is $60 and the last option is $70.
Lisa said, I heard infidelity. So the infidelity was okay. So we've been round and around the mulberry bush 3 times total, right? So the infidelity was the second time when we were still married. That's what led to our divorce.
Yeah, you mean the first time.
Or first time, right?
Yeah, that led to our divorce.
That led to our divorce. Then Sean and I got back together, and so there was no infidelity. So
yeah,
just to be clear,
infidelity in years.
Just to be clear, there was no infidelity. There's not been infidelity in years. So there was no me bringing that up or mentioning it in that part of the book was me summarizing all of what I had to get past. Does that make sense? So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, that was years ago. But what we're not going to do is act like it didn't still
sting.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Especially because, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but especially when something traumatic happens, you don't just, y'all do it to y'all men all the time. You don't just think about that moment, girl. You start thinking back to everything that man did. You go 10 years back, 25 years ago, girl, when he cheated on you with the girl from high school, you like, girl, he'd be like, you know what? You know, and so that's what that was. You guys got not only us giving you exactly all the details about what happened because it had just happened when we were writing this, but you also got our raw emotions, like in real time as we were processing them. So
thank you for the stars, Miss Alicia.
thank you for the stars.
Hey.
Thank you for the stars. Thank you for the stars. Hey.
Thank you for the stars. Okay.
Hey. So there, I feel
let's
like
see.
there were other questions. Were there other questions?
Let me see. Let me go. to my
What did you relate to Sean as it relates to the date? So what I told Sean was, I said, Sean, I put a date on the calendar. I said, Sean, I put a date on the calendar. I'm not telling you or anybody else. There was not an individual on this earth that could say they knew what the date was. They say that they're lying, okay? So I put a date on the calendar and I had the date here. I didn't physically write the date on the calendar. I had the date here. And I decided, I said, God, I'm praying and I'm laying before you and I really need clarity as it relates to which direction I should go in. Because anybody who knows me knows not only am I big on family and loyalty and love, I'm big on legacy and I'm big on planning and strategizing and all of these things. And so I knew making a decision or saying, hey, we should consider going our separate ways. I knew what that meant. I knew that meant likely sending the kids back to traditional school, us likely having to go back into corporate America. I knew all of what that meant. I knew less quality time with the kids. I knew what untangling everything that we built looked like. And so when I put that date on the calendar, I pretty much said, I need to see better, right? I need to see better. Like what happened, there was a pivotal event that you guys are going to read about in the book that took our family from one place to the pits of hell in a matter of hours, right? We have been to hell and back. I can't sugarcoat it. Yeah. We have literally been to hell and back and had to look like we had it all together while we was in the car going. You see what I'm saying? And so and it wasn't that we were trying to pretend, but if we give you an inch, we got to give you the mile. Yeah. We can't tell you part of what was happening without. But had this thing went a different way, can I say this part? It might have made,
no.
Okay. Too much? You'll find out. But I said all that to say that's what the date on the calendar was.
So, Sandra, so there's two books. So Candy wrote a book called Moments of Redemption a couple of years ago. That was the first installment of her book. She never had intentions of writing a second book, but life does what it does, right? And so now she's written a second book, and I was actually able to co-author this book with her. So the second book is called Moments of Resurrection. So this one we co-authored together. So there's two books. One is Moments of Redemption. That's the one that she released about maybe 3 years ago now. And then Moments of Resurrection is the one that's coming out now. And then also, Adrian said, did we go to couples therapy? Not this time around, because we've done it in the past, and this was beyond that.
We've done individual therapy.
Yeah, we have.
We've done individual therapy.
It was beyond that. Deborah said, will the merchandise still be available with I know they're talking about SJ. So, yeah.
Yes.
Right, yes. Yeah, we're just figuring out, all the nuances. Dad said, I had to tell you, I cried when I heard this. I had to ask myself why I felt so involved in this relationship, but I understand that you still have love for each other. And I think, Dot, it's because we're a community. Some of you guys have been with us for years. And so it's no different than, you seeing your parents separate or your sister going through a separation or whatever. Like when you form a bond, even if it's virtual, some of you guys, we know all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why you guys feel that way, and it's not weird. I don't think that's weird.
I cried when relatives got divorced, and it wasn't my parents. Like I literally cried when other relatives have gotten divorced because it's so what therapy has taught me, and Sean's experience might be different because we did everything separate. But what I've learned is when relationships or marriages go in opposite directions, it's very similar to the grieving process of losing a loved one. We're going through the same stages. Yeah. We've been through many of the same stages. It's denial. It's, you know, all those same stages. And so, yeah, you become, because you get used to seeing something. And so it might not necessarily be the death of an individual per se, but it's the death of a unit.
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, there's a process with that.
Hey, Miss Siobhan. She said, miss my ISU family. Hey, love.
Hey, Siobhan, let me ask you this. Now, we kind of skated over it. There were some best friends that were saying about the live from last year. When I asked you the question and I said, hey, Sean, would you consider remarrying me?
And that's crazy because it didn't have anything to do with this. When I saw, and I actually explained it on the live, but I don't know if maybe I didn't articulate it well enough. My reasoning for saying no to Candy when she asked me about remarrying me was because I knew I wasn't the best version for her. And I didn't want to marry her again and then still rob her from the spouse that she deserved. So I knew I had some work to do on my end. And I said that on the live. I said, it's me. Like, I'm the reason why I'm saying that. Had nothing to do with her, because I was like, I'm not, in so many words, I wasn't wife material. I wanted to be. I really, really wanted to be. But I wasn't. And so I had to be real with that. And that was a difference than our past. When I went into our marriage the first time and I wasn't honest.
Yeah.
So I was being honest then, and I was like, no. I wouldn't even do that to you.
So if you guys, so just to put things in perspective, there's a few major events that happened inside of the book, right? Just to put things in perspective, one of the major events that led us here had happened, maybe a couple of months prior to that? Because maybe it was around the holiday when we had that conversation. I don't know exactly when.
No, that was before that.
It was before that?
That was way before that. Because you wouldn't have been, since that happened, you were not considering that at all. No.
Yeah, that's true.
That was before that happened.
Really?
Yes, that was before that happened.
You're right.
That was before finding out about, that was before everything.
You're right. Wow.
Yeah, that was before everything.
Wow.
And then everything went to hell.
Yeah.
Deanna said, I don't think that's true. I appreciate that. I think that's very sweet. I appreciate that. But you only know what you've seen on social media. And I'll just put it that way. When you get the book, you'll understand why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Coley said, you want to read Coley's?
Coley said, Sean, did you feel oh, wait, hold on. She said, did you feel any way when finding out that Candy set a date unbeknownst to you or no? No, she told me.
I told her I set a date. I just didn't give her the date.
She didn't tell me what the date was.
Right.
She said, were you already at the point of knowing what the end place was, regardless of anything that did or didn't happen by that point at all? For me, I didn't know, but I pretty much knew, like, she was at wit's end. Pretty much. That's what that was. That was like, and I understood why she did it. Because it's no difference in being like going to your kid and being like, you know what? If you don't keep this room clean for the next 3 days, you can't go to that party this weekend. Well, of course they're going to show up and they're going to clean their room. It's going to be spotless for 3 days because they're trying to get what they want, right? And if it's be different if you watching your kid and being like, okay, I'm going to see if they're going to do what they're going to do. And then if they don't do it, then they ain't going to this party this weekend. You see, there's a difference because people's actions can be manipulated if they know in their mind they're trying to get something. And so I understood that was the reason why she wanted to genuinely and authentically see what she needed to see from me, either yes or no. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I think that should help. Is someone now attracted to men? Oh, wow. I am not. I can only speak for myself.
I guess I always have been, but it don't go far. You know what I mean? So here's my follow-up to that. Inside of the gay and the rainbow community, inside of the community, as I always say, we are always asked that question when relationships go left. But I have to ask you guys, the straights, do y'all ask each other that? Right? So if you make it make sense, right? So you got a husband. Sis, follow me. You got a husband. Your best friend Judy across town, she got a husband. Judy called you and say, girl, you know, me and George, right, we've been going through it. and she tell you her and George getting a divorce, do you then ask her, are you going to start dating women?
Or do you go to George and be like,
are you going to start dating?
Ralph?
Right.
Like, that's never a question.
So for me, and I can't speak for Sean, I have always been attracted to men, but I have primarily, almost exclusively dated women my whole life. There's been sprinkling of guys 20 years ago or whatnot, but I'm 40, right? So I said all that to say, 9 out of 10 times, the person that will be with me in the future at some point in time, far into the future, will be a woman. So regardless of what Sean and I went through, I don't feel like I'm not supposed to be with women. I feel like I'm not supposed to be with this woman.
Hi, me.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be with this woman.
Yeah.
But it would be no different than somebody who was straight. You might not need to be with that man. You know what I'm saying? So but I'm just answering the question. It's no pushback. I'm just simply having the conversation.
Right.
So
Constance said, wow, this is one that we've never had. Constance said, is someone on drugs in the family is suffering? No, not at all. That's never been one of our vices.
Ouch.
I hope that neither one of us appear to be dealing with that. But no, that's not the case.
No, never.
She
never.
What to do?
Yeah, never.
Hey,
never.
We said
No
we'll
drugs.
answer questions.
No drugs, never.
So you ready for me to get into my excerpt?
Yes, I think those are all the questions.
Yeah, I went back through.
Did I miss anything? Okay.
No, that's it.
Okay,
so you heard Candy's version or Candy's perspective in that moment in time. Now you're going to hear mine. And just like I kind of excluded some pieces from hers because I don't want to give away everything, I may do the same thing with mine, okay?
I love y'all. But you guys, everybody's free to ask any questions that they want. We're not offended.
And you know, we've always, this is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
Non-judgment zone. You know, we've always been there and we built for it, so it's fine.
Because there be a lot of people out here on drugs and no shade, but it do. Like, it's a valid question. She like, girl, something fell out the bag, and if you telling me that infidelity, girl, somebody,
right. What is it?
Somebody got needles or something. I don't know. Best friend just wants to know, girl. She just wants to get to the bottom of things. Nobody's mad.
Okay, so now this is me, Sean. Mm-hmm. Candy was usually my safe place, my protector, and who was always there to catch me when I fell. Mm-hmm. But this time, I couldn't get that from her. How could I expect the person I had put through the ringer to be the same person to hold me and tell me it would be okay? I had robbed her of the ability to be there for me and to give me the emotional support I needed during this time. If I was being honest, I had slowly been chipping away at that through the years with my infidelity, lies, lack of communication, and not being the partner she needed at critical times in our relationship. I was sitting in my own consequences. I was reaping what I sowed, and I had to be able to accept that. Despite it all, I was willing to accept whatever consequences or backlash I had to take from Candy if we would be able to move forward and repair the relationship. I was trying my hardest to try to fix what I had caused, but the financial hole I had put us in was immense and getting worse rather than better. One day she came to me after we had another disagreement. They were becoming a little more frequent and more intense. I'm just letting you know that I put a date on the calendar. Something has to give. I have to see better from you. In this relationship, I'm not going to tell you the date, she said. I understand. I'm trying, Candy. I really am, I responded. Because I need to see things happen naturally, not because you're trying to meet a deadline. I get it, I said. All I could do was keep trying. I wanted to show her I was who she fell in love with, but the truth of the matter was I wasn't. I was no longer the strong, independent, social person I once was. I was no longer the little rough around the edges girl from the south side of Chicago that had smart comments and witty comebacks for things. I was no longer the confident woman that was not afraid to say what she wanted to say or give her opinion when something was posed to her. Most of that had changed because over the years, I was trying to become what I thought was the perfect partner and spouse for Candy, but I had fallen short in so many ways. She had been through so much dealing with me and then the loss of her father, but her strength was immense. During the consecration, I was asking God to make things plain for me. I wanted him to let me know what it was I was supposed to be doing. What direction should I be moving in? I was asking for forgiveness for all the pain and anguish I had caused to those in my life through my actions. I was asking for healing, not only for me, but for everyone connected to me, especially Candy. I was asking for mercy on Kincaid. What if they let's see, having to live, I'm gonna skip over a few parts. Having to live with regret and remorse daily was a mental and emotional punishment that drained me. I wondered how long my sentence would be, but knew that only God had the answers to that. I needed to reap what I had sown, and there was nothing I could do about it. While writing this book, the sentence still presses on. On top of that, I started to question the relationship Candy and I had. It was a shell of what it once was. I knew I had not been the partner to Candy that she deserved all the time. I was wondering if I had even had the ability to be that woman anymore. We were not who we were in our 20s and 30s when things were good and we had been through so much. The innocence of our love had been gone years ago, and the frustration and anger she was showing was increasing. I realized I had stripped her from the ability to love me like I needed and wanted to be loved. She was no longer my best friend that I could talk to about anything. My safe place now had a permanently closed sign on it, and I could no longer get in. There was no excitement to see me anymore. The intimacy was gone, and not just sexually. Even the hugs, holding hands, forehead kisses, any evidence of romantic love was gone. I started to feel like she was only here out of obligation, and I was here because I owed it to her to make it up to her. Don't get me wrong, I was still very much in love with Candy, and sadly, I still am today. But you can only fight for a relationship if the other person is willing to fight just as hard. It was becoming clear to me that Candy was tired of fighting from over the years and had stopped. Her letting me know she had a date on the calendar was another sign that the fight was only coming from my side. I asked God to make it clear whether we should continue this or not. The happy moments were only small glimpses through all the sad, angry, stressed, and frustrated moments. Happiness for us was now just a fleeting thought, like how a daydream comes and goes. I longed for what we once were, but I realized that was our past, and I was starting to think that it would never be a part of our future again.
Wow. What questions do you guys have?
So that was my perspective.
What questions do you guys have? Mm-mm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, Alicia said, was there other women? No, no other women involved, no infidelity. Let me see. Doo-doo-doo.
Alicia, I got old and fat. Girl, I don't want to take my clothes off in the company of who I'm supposed to take them off in front of. You think I'll introduce the new people?
Adrian said it's so very hard to get back with someone and then the relationship flourish. I'm there now. Oh, I'm sorry, Adrian. Mm-hmm. Nicole said, dang, this broke my heart. Mm-hmm. Coley said, y'all, we're so invested in this story already. The second she starts reading again, we all go completely silent and just sit nicely and listen.
Yes. Oh, that's a good observation. So, Two Peace and Love said you got a gambling habit. Maybe you got a gambling habit. Now that's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
That's a real good guess. That's a very good guess.
But you got to get the book to find out.
That's a good guess. I like that guess.
Sandra said, where do I send payment? So Miss Sandra, what you want to do is inbox. If you're on G, you can inbox Instagram as well. Inbox your name, your email address, and what option that you want. Remember, there's 4 options. And if you need me to go through the options again, I can let you know. But just inbox, and then once we're done with the live, I'll be checking the inboxes on IG and Facebook and sending everybody their invoices. Okay. Mm-hmm. There were other questions. Hold on, let me find them. Pam said that was deep. Mm-hmm. Lisa said, what lies? I can't tell you all that, Lisa. There's that's why I gotta get the book. Yeah. Claudette said, sheesh, water is trying to escape my eyes. Deona said, Candy, what does your lock necklace represent today? I remember what you said it represented a while back.
I don't know. It should represent the bondage that I once was in, but the emotional and mental bondage, and even financial bondage that I was once in. It should be a constant reminder of where I've been and the freedom that I'm gaining. But I don't know. I guess I don't have a very deep meaning. I don't know. It's just something that is just a piece of jewelry that I love and I've worn all the time.
Margaret said, Sean, do you have a problem with communication? Yes. And I'm working through I I think that it's getting better, but I don't know. But yes, I have a very, very big problem with communication, especially when it comes to having difficult conversations, or if I'm going against a more dominant personality, it sequesters or it pushes my communication down. So yes, I'm trying to work through that, and I feel like I'm getting better, but only time will tell.
Okay, so wait, I'm in the GED section. Sequestered. I only
like pushed down, tracked away, that type of thing.
I knew, but somebody didn't know. Somebody didn't know. So I'm asking on behalf of the person who didn't know.
Gotcha.
Sequester. We've heard of, them sequestering witnesses on a court case, but I just was asking on behalf of the person who was sitting there confused.
Shiki said, "Are the babies aware?" Yes, they are. We had a conversation with them, and they are aware.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah. Deborah said, "Sean, you should do a podcast. Your reading voice is great." Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Hold on. Why does it keep jumping like that? Hold on, y'all. I was right there. Yeah. Here we go. Debbie said, "Wow, Sean, that was a bit triggering for me. It woke me up to something I'm currently experiencing. My God, on today." I'm sorry, Miss Debbie. I wasn't trying to trigger nobody. That's just that was my feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. Tanika said, "It appears that Sean is taking all the blame. It takes two to make a relationship work or not work." It's not that I'm taking all the blame. I'm taking ownership for my part. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When you read the book, you understand why. I had to take accountability, and I had to take ownership of what I did. For me to be like, "Oh, she did it too." When you do that, when you be like, "Oh, you did this to me too," you're trying to minimize your part in it. And so this is me taking ownership of what I did and taking accountability for it. Okay.
Right. And I never, so just to be clear, best friends, I never at any point in time said that I did nothing, that I didn't do anything wrong. But there's a lot of the story, the great vast majority of the story you guys don't know yet, and you won't know until you have the book, mm-hmm. right? Once you have the book and you get to that part of the book, then you'll understand why it appears that I'm not taking ownership. What you do have access to is us transparently saying here, and Sean reading the excerpt and saying, "Hey, I have a communication issue." Mm-hmm. So there was a whole lot of stuff going on that I didn't know anything about. Yeah. So it's very, very difficult to own or take ownership for something that you weren't even privy to or told the truth about as it was happening anyway. Mm-hmm. So I do take ownership for the part that I played, the part that I feel like I played, and I can give you guys this without giving it all away. It's not un momento.
Because that'll be for the virtual event, I think. I wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Because that's good for the deep dive. Miss Lisa said, "Is there an option for book 1 and 2?" Yes, Miss Lisa. Option 2 is if you want both books, Moments of Redemption and Moments of Resurrection. That's option 2, and it should be pinned below. You should see like a little pin, and if you hit the pin, it'll give you all 4 options. So just hit that. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Hold on. We just answered that same question. Constance says, "Oh, baby girl, that was deep, but neither one of you should be so hard on yourself or each other. Life happens. I'll be praying for both of you." Yes, it's not. She said it's not drugs. It got to be gambling. I don't know.
Girl, they like it's only a couple. They like it's only a couple of things. If it ain't women, it's drugs,
it is what it is. Kathy said, "I'm surprised because you communicate so well online." That's because I'm just talking. I'm just having a conversation. I'm not in a relationship with any of you guys. We're not having disagreements. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's different. There's different levels of communication. I can communicate well in business. I can communicate well in friendships. But unfortunately, in this relationship, I did not communicate well.
And on a regular basis, you communicate very well. But it's like Sean said before, it's the difficult conversation. Yeah. Let's be honest, we all communicate well when everything is going our way, but it's when the tough conversations have to be had. That's when communication skills either show up or don't, for that fact.
Laura, I like your comment. She said, you seem to be, and I believe she's talking to me, you seem to be struggling with loving yourself first so that you can truly be in love with someone else. I think in going through therapy, that was one of the things that I was discovering and working through. I have always had an issue with self-esteem, especially when I was younger, and it carried through my adult life. So you have a valid point in saying that, and I appreciate your observation. I appreciate your observation for that. Let's see. Jamie said, is option 3 for book 2 in the Zoom? Yes, option 3 is if you want moments of resurrection and access to the virtual event. Yes. She said, adulting is accountability, equals accountability. Is a beautiful thing when we know the difference between that and blaming or blaming somebody else. I think that's what she's trying to say.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, you guys have good questions. Let me go back. It just skipped on me again. Hold on. There we go. Debbie said it's a positive trigger, Sean. It's allowing me to step up and handle my business so I can move forward. Thank you for the transparency. It's healing for us too. You are welcome. You're very welcome.
Yes.
Coley said, girl, that y'all better read that first book before even looking at number 2, because child is tea.
Yeah. And Coley, the first 2 chapters of this book continue. Remember with book 1, I dropped you off.
Yeah, she dangled you over the cliff like, yep, there you go. Goodbye.
With book 1, I dropped you off. And so everybody was inboxing like, girl, what's going on? What's, whatever. So the first couple of chapters of this book pick you up at that very moment that I dropped you off at.
Mm-hmm. Yep, literally picks you right back up.
Yeah.
What is the price for option 4? So option 4 is $70 plus your $10 shipping. And that's getting both books plus access to the virtual event. Mm-hmm. Can you read that question for me?
Yes. So best friend said, hey, Dana. She said, what's the biggest lesson you both learned thus far?
Ooh, that's like a deep dive question, Dana.
I like it. Let's do it.
We'll answer it because that's a good deep dive question. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably end up answering it again on the virtual event. You want to go first?
So for me, and here's me taking accountability. Sean is going to kick me under the table. She, for whatever reason, don't want me to give my piece of it. But I have to, right? Because then what that does, if I don't, is people are going to walk away thinking that I'm placing all of the blame on you and taking none myself.
Okay.
And that's not fair for me to be painted in that light.
Okay.
I've been painted in a bad enough light as it relates to our back and forth over the years. And so I don't want to be or have the opportunity to be absorbed of my wrong in the situation.
I got you.
Okay. So as it relates to what I have done wrong, I have not created the space and the place for Sean to feel comfortable to have difficult conversations. We as human beings, we always want truth. We always want transparency. We always want honesty. We always want all of these things. But when we don't get it from other people, we have to do the root work and look in the mirror and say, what aspect of me is making it uncomfortable for her or difficult for her to tell me the truth or answer certain questions and be very, very direct. So because I have a quick temper and Sean always had to hear my mouth, because I always had something to say, I didn't create the space over the years where when very difficult things were happening, Sean would feel like this was a safe space or place for her to be able to have those difficult conversations. So then creates the scenario where it's very much so like, if you're in a relationship and your man be like, I'm going to give you the truth according to how much you can handle it. But if it's all this or, it ends up being this big ordeal, then you start seeing partners hide things from folks, not be honest, cover things up, etc. So I own the fact that over the years, I created the space where, because I was so mouthy and so vocal, Sean always had to hear my mouth. And that's not easy for somebody who came into the relationship based on her own childhood and her own triggers and her own traumas. It didn't create the space for her to feel comfortable to be able to, have difficult conversations. We never had any issues with domestic issues. So I used to be like, Sean, Girl, what you think I'm gonna do? Girl, you finna hear my mouth, but I'm this tall and you this tall. Girl, what am I going to do? After I run out of gas and get through talking, all I could do is shower and go to bed. But that's still not enough. Because even me raising my voice or her having to hear my mouth at that level was uncomfortable for her. It was triggering. And that's not love. So I have to own the fact that I didn't create the safe space. And I have to do the root work, and I have to look in the mirror and say, again, going back to the conversation that we had last night when people were like, are y'all dating? No. Because I'm the person who I planned out my life when I was a little girl. I knew I wanted to get married and I wanted to have kids. And respectfully, I did everything by the book. I waited until I graduated from college and had my degrees. I waited until I had a corporate career and was making six figures. Then we bought the house. Then we got married. Then we had kids. We did everything by the book. And the shit still didn't work. I'm still a baby mama. So with all that being said, and it's not to say that, whatever, it is what it is. But I was telling my friend, if it was going to end like this, girl, I could have got pregnant by Buddy in high school and had adult kids at this point. If the story was going to end the same way. But I said all that to say, I have to look in the mirror and say, what part of me has to change before I can even entertain anything with anybody else? So I'm doing the work on myself. There's a lot of things about me. So Sean owns her part, but that's the part that I have to own. I'm not easy to talk to. I'm quick-tempered. I'm hot-headed. I want things my way. Yeah. And it didn't work for us. So
Miss Adrian said, oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Huh?
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Adrian said, did you ever forgive yourself for cheating? Asking me. Yes, I did. I forgave myself for that. And I understand where it came from. And it was another, again, communication.
Now, that's one thing I would say. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like we both forgave each other for that.
Yeah.
We both cheated and we both forgave each other for that. So although it came up as it relates to the book, it wasn't something that we really every day was like, well, girl, don't forget you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me keep going. Dang it. Hold on, y'all. It keeps
you want to do it from here?
No, it's fine. Miss Dolly, I'm going to copy and paste this because I wanted you to inbox it, but I'm going to put it on a notepad, and that way I can send you your invoice once we're done. So I just want to let you know that I acknowledge that I did get your email and what option you want. So I will send you your invoice once we're done, love. Thank you. Okay, so Alicia said, I know how Sean feels. I don't talk to people much when it comes to relationships. Coley said Candy did us dirty. How?
What did I do? What did I do?
Oh, this is a good question. Nicole said, will you keep your last name for the kids' sake, or does carrying the last name bring you pain or hard feelings or make you sad? So I battle with that because I've kept my last name. I've kept Candy's last name all these years. I've never changed my last name, even after our divorce. And we divorced in 2017, whenever that was. And that was the reason why we both decided that she was okay with me keeping it, because at the end it's hers. She can be like, no, take it down. Like I did, the name stay here. She could have easily said, go on down there and run me that back. But she said, no, we have children and I want our names to be the same. This is why I'm battling with it now. And I've never had this conversation because it just hasn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
When she marries again, so am I supposed to be like, what, like, you know what I'm saying? Out of respect for her new wife, should I really still have her last name? Like for me, I battle with that. Like at that point, I feel like it needs to be relinquished. Like you're not it no more. You know what I mean? Like that ain't your place, sis. That ain't been your place in umpteen years. So that's why I say I battle with that. Go ahead.
Can we just not live together first? Can we tackle one thing first? Can we tackle one thing first? I can't, and Sean might very easily be right. Right? We talked about it last night. There's some people in this world that are meant to be married. I'm one of those people. But it's so far down the road, I couldn't even tell you what the person looked like or when it's going to be or how is it? I don't know, right? Let's just get out of the furnace. Let's just get out of the furnace first. I don't know. But I don't know. So, one thing at a time, little grasshopper. If you want to get rid of the phone, I get it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But
did you say get rid of the phone?
I mean, I'm sorry. I was looking at my phone. If you want to get rid of the last name, I apologize, best friend. This is why I can't be, girl, I'll be on the phone multitasking. It's like, girl, people be like, what are you doing? But if you want to get rid of the last name, I understand and I respect it, regardless of which way you go with it. But yeah, I got to do stuff in small chunks. I get overwhelmed.
Ms. Danny said, I understand and hear you. Now looking back, what did you miss in the beginning that both ignored in one another?
Ooh. What were the red flags that you missed, girl? That's what Dana's politely asking. Dana want to know, girl. What red flags did you miss?
So honestly, I don't think it was anything that I ignored in her. I think it was what I ignored in myself. I think as soon as I got to the point where I started to feel like, okay, I can't talk like I want to, I can't communicate like I want to, that should have been where a conversation should have been had immediately. As soon as I started feeling like I should have came to her and be like, babe, like, sometimes when I try to come to you and talk to you, like I can't, I don't feel like I can. It always ends up in an argument, or it's difficult, or the raised voice, it does something for me. Like, I think I ignored it in myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And tried to keep just dealing with it, thinking like, oh, it'll be okay, and maybe I'll adapt or whatever. And I think that was what I ignored on my end.
So Dana, so here's best friends what I see. Sean's red flags and triggers about me trigger my red flags and triggers about her, right? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? We trigger each other. Sean is in a position, she grew up where she didn't feel heard. She didn't feel like she could communicate. She's seeing certain things. And so that's a trigger for her. My triggers, my non-negotiables from day one have always been somebody who's not honest, somebody who's lying to me, somebody who I feel is manipulative, and all of these different things. So we were triggering each other, you see? And so I told you guys earlier, I have a bad temper. You need something?
Okay, we'll be done soon.
So we were triggering each other, you see? And so with that being said, I felt like she was doing it on purpose, and she felt like I was doing it on purpose, and we were at this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
No, Miss Kathy, we did not know, the Candy did not know it was going to be a second book. That was just how she ended it, because what she did when she wrote that first book, she literally wrote it up until the point where, okay, this is where my life is right now. Like, I got it in the book because I can't tell the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she had no intentions of writing a second book until life did what it did.
Yeah, I told people for a long time that I was not going to write a second book, because we had started Sincerity Johnson, and our focus was SJ. Mm-hmm. It was one of the conversations where we were here at the table. We talked about it. And then my cousin Brandon came on the live and mentioned, hey, I see you writing another book. And then we talked about it some more and then some other things. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, Cody, because I will never refer to her like that. She said, Sean about to come across that table and strangle Candy off that hard baby mama.
Girl,
I would
listen.
Like, you can never refer to her as that. Like,
you can call it what you want to call it. If I'm left in this house raising these children, and we're a single parent household, and I have 2 children to take care of, then yes, girl, I am a baby mom. I am a baby mama. I will be a single mother with well, I guess I can't call myself a single mother because you'll be present, but we're gonna be living under the same roof. It's different. It's different. We can clean it up and color it and make it a different title or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's very different than how I planned or saw my life. Yeah. So you guys have really good questions.
She does. Coley said, "Oh, Candy said, don't hit me with all that just yet. That right there shows you these women love each other and they just know who they are supposed to be for one another right now. Yeah, we just know that we're supposed to be in each other's lives in a different capacity." Candy and Sean. Oh, do you think Candy expectations of you were just too much?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
Okay, so let me say this.
That's a good question. Oh, I love your question, best friend.
I don't even know how to articulate it the way that I'm thinking it in my mind.
Just give it to us. We'll pick it apart.
I don't think that her expectations were too much for me because everybody has expectations. Everybody has what they need and what they require from a person, from a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that is saying that.
Do you think we talked about our expectations of each other going into the marriage?
We didn't. Not in its entirety. I know I never set any expectations. But dang, I'm gonna have to think on that, Margaret. Like I can't even give like a good answer.
Oh,
maybe I'll have to do that one during the deep dive. So I can think on that one.
Do you all think that prayers and closure and a closer walk with God brought true clarity?
Yes. Absolutely it did.
Yes. Yes.
When we went through the consecration, that's where all this came out.
Best friend also said, do you think all of the stress has given you two health problems? Yes. Yes. There have been, I can just speak for me. There have been days where I had more problems with my asthma over the past year. There have been days where I had a lot more migraines and headaches than ever before in my life the past year. There have been days where I woke up or went to bed with chest pain and didn't want to deal with that or didn't want to go to the emergency room because we had X, Y, or Z going on. Yeah, there have been a lot of things that I know are direct correlations to the level of stress that I've been under. Absolutely.
Jessica said I came in late. Was like, oh girl, Jessica, you're gonna have to watch yesterday's video.
And
today's video to get all the way caught back up.
So Jessica, you read the first book. This is the pre-sale for the second book.
Yes.
And Sean and I are no longer together. So that's the cliff notes.
Yeah, that's the cliff notes. A lot of people are saying that because even Jamie said her husband has an ex-wife who still has the last name. It don't bother her. She said it's a conversation you'll have to have with your new person.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And again, that's something that I will, I'll definitely, once I have a partner, let's start there. Once I actually have a partner, and we're at the point where the relationship is serious and we're looking at merging lives at that point in the future, then that's definitely a conversation to have. But like I tell Sean, it's no point in going down the scenario, the what if this, what if that road, if I'm not there yet, right? So we have to get to the point where, number one, I'm healed. And number two, I'm dateable, like Sean said yesterday. And then number three, I'm with somebody and then I'll evaluate what works or doesn't work for that person. Because for one person, it might be a big deal. And for another person, it might not be that deep. So, yeah. This has been good. That's been good. What else do you guys have? Anybody else have anything?
I gotta go and do homework.
No, do you feel like you articulated it, or you still need to?
No, I told her that I couldn't answer it fully like I want to.
Can you ask the question again?
Oh, I believe she said in so many words, because I would have to go find it. In so many. Oh, here it is. She said, "Do you think that Candy's expectations of you were just too much?"
I don't know.
I'll say this.
Be honest.
I don't believe that her expectations were too much. I felt like I changed who I was to try to meet her expectations. So I wasn't the right fit for her.
When did you start to feel like that?
Oh, years ago. Years ago. Which is why when I read my excerpt, you didn't hear what I read? Let me go back and find it.
Yeah, go back and find it.
Here it is. All I could do, here, listen. All I could do was keep trying. I wanted to show her I was who she fell in love with, but the truth of the matter was I wasn't. I was no longer the strong, independent, social person I once was. I was no longer the little rough around the edges girl from the south side of Chicago that had smart comments and witty comebacks for things. I was no longer the confident woman that was not afraid to say what she wanted to say or give her opinion when something was posed to her. Most of that had changed because over the years, I was trying to become what I thought was the perfect partner and spouse for Candy, but I had fallen short in so many ways. I just realized I answered that question.
But why? So I don't know if Margaret is trying to unpack this or any of the other best friends. What I'm trying to figure out is why did you feel like, okay, so for me, if you were all of those things as you described, the chick from the south side of Chicago that always has something to say or whatever, that's who I fell in love with. So why change all of that to become something different on the other side of marriage? Because I feel like who I fell in love with and we started to build with right after college, and then who you became on the other side of my last name were two different things. And we've had conversations where I told you I feel like it was bait and switch. Remember that?
I think that that's a conversation we have to have offline. Because I can answer your question, but I don't know. Yeah. But I can answer the question. I can absolutely answer the question.
Okay. I'm confused. Okay. Everybody looking. They looking, I'm looking. They looking, I'm looking. Hi, Vending. Vending said
Oh my gosh, where you been?
Vending said, do either of you want to get married again in the future? Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Deanna said we want to know too. I understand that, but out of respect for Candy, I just want to make sure that, because there's just certain things that I just, you know what I'm saying, like.
Dana said sometimes you lose you in them, meaning you lose yourself in the relationship. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Adrian said bait and switch. Ouch. Yeah. I feel like you guys ever see like your friend, maybe, let's say your friend is single, your friend is dating, and she really, really, really want this guy or this person that she's dating. So she put her best foot forward to get the guy. Then she get the guy. They planning the wedding and everything become about the wedding. And then on the other side of the wedding, shortly thereafter, they're unhappy. What's because she was doing everything she could to get the guy, but she's not doing everything she could to keep the guy. I'm the guy. What? Dana on Instagram said, I will say this, for some people, men or women change after marriage because of what they think marriage should be. Yeah. And then to take things deeper, Sean has told you guys on camera, she comes from a family where most of the women are single. I come from a family where mostly everybody is married and has been married. You know, almost everybody got married. You know, and so for the people that I looked up to, I'm talking about marriages 40 plus years. My grandparents, 56, 57 years until he died. When he took his last breath, and my grandfather's birthday is today, but when he took his last breath, we were all standing around him. 3 generations. So that's the family that I came from. So when Sean and I were engaged, I asked Sean, I said, I want you to go to the women in my family. Talk to my grandmother, talk to my godmother, talk to these women who have done it at a very high level successfully for a very long time. Not to say that they have the blueprint, But there's a lot of value in seeing somebody who's done together with somebody for a long time. So we never did it. We never did it. But it was those sort of conversations that I was pushing, oftentimes. But we never did it. And it's not just on Sean that we never did it. We just never did it. In my mind, I knew that's what we probably needed. But we were very young. We still were in our 20s.
Yeah.
So we just never did it. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Because at the time I was also still dealing with the fact that half of my family couldn't accept the fact that I was marrying a woman. And it was a whole lot of other issues connected to that. So we didn't get a chance to do that. But at the same time, excuse me, having those conversations about what do we look like versus I. Because we spent a couple of years in the beginning where the conversation was I. And I'm like, well, what about is we? Yeah.
That's what's up.
So, anything else?
Let me see. I Love Me said, I tried leaving this comment on the last live. I wasn't successful. Much love to you both. Starting this journey with separation. I was here the last time you guys tried to fight this right before SJ was birthed. I love how God got both of you your attention. And you've grown closer to God and within your spirits also. And last, how you both remain positive throughout it all and in front of the world. I got to get those books, though, and it needs some good reads, the maturity. Thank you. It takes time. It takes time. I'm grateful that I don't have to go through this with somebody that's, because some people go through some nasty breakups. It'd be real nasty and real, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just grateful that I don't have to deal with that. It makes it easier. It makes it easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's true. I mean, we still look out for each other. Sean cooked today, we still look out for each other. And there's a lot of things in the background that are just between us that I take care of as it relates to Sean. So, it's one of those things where we still have each other's best interests at heart. And so, of course, all of that will eventually come to an end. But during that awkward phase, right, we still make sure that the unit moves and everybody's best interest is taken into consideration. Mm-hmm. That's just how we're rooted and grounded.
I like what Nicole just said. I'm gonna read this and then we can wrap up because baby girl hungry. Nicole said, it seems like you both are learning a lot about each other right now, and that could be a good thing because no stones will be left unturned, and you won't feel guilty about not asking or answering any questions or issues. I like that comment because remember yesterday when Candy asked if we, if I could see us being friends, we have to learn each other again. We have to learn what we like, what we dislike, what we expect out of a friend, what our expectations are and all of that. And I think that because we're not the people that we once were 17 years ago, when we decided to take this on a romantic state and leave friendship and go into a different path, we're different now. I need to know who she is as a person. She has to know who I am a person. Does that mesh well to be friends? You don't know. So I like that Nicole said that because I think that it is. I think we still have conversations. Like we got to get to like, hi, my name is Sean and I like blah, blah, blah. Like we have to go down that path again. Even though you would think that we know each other, well, clearly we didn't. That's the reason why we're not together anymore. Mm-hmm. So I like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, Toria, for sure. Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah. But I will say this. Typically, well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. What?
Now I won't know.
Well, because I just hope. So what I shared yesterday is this, and I'm going to reiterate it because it might be different people on this video than last night. What I will say is this. I cannot thank you guys enough for all of the positive things that you have said. I know that everybody's got an opinion based on the information that they have. And I appreciate you guys giving us the space and the place and the support and the love to be able to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I think what often happens is sometimes people will see one person appearing to be okay, and they'll see another person appearing to be sad, and they'll rally around that person and then blame the other person. I appreciate you guys not doing that with us.
Yes.
Right? Because this was a mutual decision. It wasn't just on me. I know that excerpt from the book allowed you to think it was, but we went back and forth a couple of times to the point where we both was like, okay, girl, like, look, you see. So I said all that to say, I just appreciate the love and support that you guys have given both of us, because there's no winners in the situation.
Right.
Nobody benefits from saying, hey, I'm throwing in the towel. But we also have to stop creating the environment where we vilify the person who said they've reached their capacity, they've reached their threshold, and they love and value themselves enough to say, this is not healthy for me.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people said on the video last night, not live, but on the replay, Sean, we praying for you. Candy seemed bossy. Candy seemed this, that, and the third. I get it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But Candy also equally deserves to be loved, honored, and respected.
Absolutely.
The minute Sean, the cat, the dog, Kennedy, Caleb, Jordan, my mama, my grandmother can't do it, you got to go. You understand what I'm saying?
And you guys will see how I disrespected her, how I did not, you will understand. And you'll be like, oh girl, well shoot.
You cannot. This is to everybody, but specifically the ladies in the audience. You can't love somebody else to the detriment of yourself.
Say it again.
You understand what I'm saying? The minute you loving them more and respecting them more than you loving and respecting yourself, it's a whole problem. It's a whole problem. So I encourage people to say, Sean, I'm praying for you, this, that, and the third. Keep doing that because she need that. But also, there's somebody who's been standing and I've been quiet. And me being quiet is not observing me or absorbing me. That's the word. Absorbing me for the part that I played. But when I say I've been to hell and back, all while my father was sick. My father was dying. I had to take on a sibling. I had to raise 2 children. Life has been life.
And is left to raise those two children on her own. Let's get up on that. So when we say praying,
yeah,
baby, listen.
Sean gonna be okay, and so is Candy. Sean is gonna be okay, but so is Candy. So I just ask, I appreciate all the love and support, but I just ask people to, I don't know, get the book before you start inserting opinion. Get the book, get the whole story. You might still feel the same way, you might not. Get the book, get the whole story.
And baby, listen, I'm ready for it. I'm built for it tough. Because after y'all get this book, I know it's going to, okay?
But I'm very protective of you too. Because
I'm ready for it.
I'm very protective of you too. And I'm going to keep a hedge of protection around you. And I'm going to pray for you because that's warfare is going to start. Warfare is going to start. You know, even Avriel said, we both praying. Warfare is going to start. There's going to be a whole lot of people who don't understand and will critique what happened. But it is what it is. Because the assignment was downloaded. God said this is something we had to do. And somebody is going to be set free from this story. For both your perspective and mine. And that's it. When you tell your own story, can't nobody else tell it.
I told it.
And we told it. Tomorrow, I will be live. I'm going to be talking about Jordan. I seen some comments where people were like, girl, well, is this why Jordan is...
No.
Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Jordan. I'm going to ask him, do he want to join me?
Again, anybody who wants to pre-order, let me go through the dates real fast. Pre-order is now. Pre-order is going to run until next Sunday. Books will begin to ship the week of... That's the business phone. I was like, who texted my phone? Okay. Books will begin to ship the week of August 14th. For those who purchase access to the virtual event that's going to happen on August 20th, you're going to get a e-version or an electronic version of the book, because a lot of you guys were like, I won't have enough time to read the book before the virtual event. And I was like, okay, we get it. So Candy made the decision to say, you know what? For those who purchase access to the virtual event, we're going to provide you with an electronic copy of the book so that you have more time to read it before the virtual event. Virtual event is going to be Sunday, August 20th, okay? Option 1 is if you just want the new book, Moments of Resurrection. You don't want nothing else. You just want the new book. That's $30. That's option 1 plus your $10 shipping. Option 2 is if you like, man, I didn't even know there was a first book. I need both of those books. If you want Moments of Redemption and Moments of Resurrection, that's option 2. That's $40 plus your $10 shipping. Option 3 is if you're like, I already have the first book, but I want the second book and I want to come to the virtual event because I need to ask some more questions because I know it's going to be some more stuff that's going to come out this book. That is $60. And that is option 3.
Girl, if you just want to go off on one of us and be like,
right, if you want to just be like, but you got to be ready to be on camera. It is going to be on Zoom. I am going to be checking names because you're going to have to, your name is going to have to match the name that you signed up with and all that because we don't want no looky-loos, okay?
All cameras on for the virtual event.
Option 4 is if you want both books plus access to the virtual event. That's $70, okay? Go ahead if you want, inbox, whatever platform you're on. Send an inbox with your name, your email address, and which option that you want. I'm going to start processing invoices as soon as I feed baby girl. I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to start sending everybody their invoices, and I'll follow up with you and respond and let you know that your invoice has been sent. So that is that. Ms. Darlene, I grabbed yours. Don't put it, it's okay. Don't put it here. I'm going to grab yours anyway. Don't put it here, but inbox, whichever platform you're on, whether you're on IG or if you're on Facebook, inbox the page with your name, your email address, and what option that you want. Okay? So that is that. Alicia said, what if you just want the Zoom? Well, what's the point of that?
You can't come if you ain't read the book, because then the questions you had, you're gonna be. So if somebody just want the virtual event, but they don't want the book, then you're gonna be wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, because you're gonna be trying to get all the information from the book that you don't have because you didn't read the book.
Right. So we gotta start back at square one because you don't even know what happened. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, nah. That's not fair to the people who gonna be at the virtual event.
Right.
People who are gonna be at the virtual event would have read 1 and 2, or at least 2.
Right.
At least 2. Yeah.
Okay. Fair? I think that's fair.
Yes.
All righty. You got anything else?
No, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this on the other platform as well.
Okay.
So you said to inbox. They ain't got inbox over there.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm put it in the description and they can send an email to your website email address.
Got it.
That'll be a good way to do that.
Got it.
Option number 4 is $70, Miss Michelle. 70 plus your $10 shipping for us to ship you your books.
Yep. So you get both books and then you get the virtual event.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we love you guys. Tomorrow's video, I'll be live at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be live tomorrow. I'm gonna be talking about Jordan. You guys want to know what happened that led up to him coming? What happened since he's been here? What happened moving forward? How does he feel about everything? Jordan typically works and he gets off about 7:30-ish. I'm going to invite him to join, right? There's no point in just giving my perspective. You can ask him, and I'll ask him if he wants to be a part of the conversation. And so I will ask Jordan if he wants to join the conversation. He may say yes, he may say no, but it's his option. Okay? So we got a lot of questions about Jordan. I asked you guys on yesterday's video if you wanted a video just about him, and you said yeah. And so yeah, Jordan has been cool with being transparent. I told him long before he moved in, I said, we're social media, we're content creators. Are you okay with that? He was like, yeah, I don't mind sometimes. And we just never did it. He's been in some of my reels, and
he's in the book too.
Yeah, he's in the book, and it's a piece of the book. Yes. But we love you guys. You guys have an amazing night. And as we always say, the absolute best is yet to come. But baby, we got work to do. Y'all take care.
Good night, best friend.